Right, we're on to national speed limits. Let's. I'm getting a bit aroused. Well, good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to the channel, and you are joining myself and my cameraman Alex driving the new SQ5 on our first of hopefully many road trips. We are heading to the east coast, heading to a place near Filey. Do you know where Filey is?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll do, Alex, thank you. Thanks for the input. So we're heading over there. We've had a subscriber reach out. His dad is selling his car, and they were probably wondering, why is Rob wearing a shirt today? The turd has been polished. The turd has been polished for good reason today, and that is because we're off to pick up a very special car and what is affectionately referred to in the trade as a soft and gently.
Is that what it's called?
Bentley. Oh, very special car this. So, Alex, have you ever been in a Bentley before?
No.
Right, they are something else. It is an old car, it's a 2012. It's the first of that shape. They facelifted them quite heavily in 2012. It's actually a 2013 car, 2013 model on a 2012 plate.
Okay.
The reason of that is because the car was actually bought originally by Bentley as a demonstrator,
Right.
which is essentially, so when they get their wafts of Bentley buyers coming through, they can go, this is what you can have for your money. So it's a lovely example. So it's going to have a nice spec if it's a demonstrator. This car was £130,000 new. Obviously, it's lost quite a lot of money. It's a 3-owner car, which is lovely, and you don't find cars like that anymore when they're Bentleys. They're normally pass the parcel cars because someone will buy it, fill it up once or twice, go, I don't really need to remortgage right now, and sell it. It is a W12. Do you know what a W12 is?
No.
Okay, it's basically a massive engine.
I'm just giving yourself a call from Samsung Collie here. We deal with the mis-sold vehicle finances. It's just a quick question to ask if you've had a vehicle on finance in the past.
I have had a vehicle on finance in the past.
So one vehicle, or have you had more than one between the years of 2004 and 2024?
I've had a couple of vehicles on finance between those years.
Around how many are we talking about? 4, 5?
I don't know, a few.
Was anyone like Black Horse, Motor Novo, Course Brothers, just for one of the vehicles?
I can't remember the lender, but I remember the dealership that sold it to me.
What was the dealership called, sir?
It was my dealership, mate.
Your dealership?
Yeah.
Okay, and none of these mis-sold vehicles happened at your dealership?
Yeah, they were sold to me from my dealership.
So there would have been no mis-selling to yourself, I'm guessing then?
I wouldn't have thought so, mate.
No worries, sir. You take care and have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Cheers, thanks. Bit awkward for him, wasn't it?
That was quite... It was the way he was like...
Oh, no, this one before.
Get the manual.
Got a car dealer who wants to compensate himself. Where do I go from here? Oh, I'm getting fed up with these calls. So this car is a 3-owner car. The first owner was Bentley, which is great. The second owner was a dentist who lived in London, and he had the car stored at a facility, and they used to take the car out to him when he went on holiday.
Really?
Yes. As far as I've been told, we're going to be speaking to the seller when we get there. And owner number 3 is the person that I'm looking to buy the car from today, so that is great. Service history is meant to be incredible. The spec is beautiful, so it is, and I'm not going to be telling the missus about this one, gunmetal grey with cream leather, which is exactly what my missus is looking for. In fact, the last video we put out, I did mention she was looking for one of these, as you can see in this clip. She wants a Bentley. She wants a gunmetal grey Bentley Continental with cream leather, which would be perfect for our 11-week-old child, won't it?
Nice.
So Clementine is not to know, although she is going to know because when we drive home tonight, it's going to be going on the drive, and I'm hoping I can purr it up onto the driveway and she's not going to notice. Not going to get away with that one. Anyway, really looking forward to it, and we're going to a very nice part of the world to pick it up as well. So Alex has brought across a load of drone-y stuff and all the technical stuff that I'm not interested in, and he is going to be filming some exquisite shots for you to see, aren't you, boy?
Yeah.
So we shall see you over there. We're going to meet Joseph and Stephen, have a walk around their Bentley, and let's see if there's a deal to do. I'm going to rub my hands like a car dealer now, but I have to be quick. See you over there. So we have arrived. We've just had a quick discussion with the owners of this rather lovely car, and I'm sat in a rather lovely garden in a rather lovely part of the world. And if you want to talk about lovely, have a look at that. Absolutely beautiful. The photographs didn't do this car justice, so I'm going to have a proper look around it now. It literally just said the keys are in it, so go for it, take your time, there's no rush at all. There's a few bits that I've spotted kind of right off the bat that probably need addressing, but nothing that's alarming. The alarming things on a Bentley are the expensive things that you can't see. But we're going to go into that. We'll have a proper look around it. But initial reaction is beautiful colour. Does need a polish. They did say it needed a polish, which is fine, but it's just... Haven't they aged well, these, for 10 years old? Got a private plate on it at the moment, which won't be coming with the car, obviously. He was just telling me a story about how he sold a private plate with his Range Rover that was 1 and then his initials, and regretted that. So obviously wants to keep this one. I don't think it's worth quite the same as his last one. A small dent just here. I'm hoping we can get into the inner wing now with the dent man. You'd want to keep this paint original if you can. Looks superb. Now crucially, it's level. So what you don't want to see on a Bentley, because they're on air suspension, is sagging in any way, shape or form. Now, I'm going to look like a Bentley expert here because I've done a lot of research last night, knowing we're coming to look at this. I've only ever had one in stock, and I absolutely adored it. So this is the W12, which is the full fat. They started to do a V8 on this year as well. The V8 is arguably the one that you would have and run, but the W12 is the one. It's the godfather, it's the proper one. We'll have a look inside it because the interior is super important on these. With a Bentley, you need to check absolutely everything works. Everything electrical. It is so important. Soft closed doors work, which is lovely. Alex is pulling faces because he's never seen one of these before. Oh, the smell immediately. There are a lot of changes on the facelift. So the steering wheel is different, the way that the controls are on are different. It's so much prettier than the non-facelift, in my opinion. I think that actually starts to look quite dated now, but this is just gorgeous. So it's got piano black. This I believe they refer to as beluga. There looks like there's a little mark in the leather here, which has shrunk, which is a shame. Now you can sometimes heat them up and stretch them back, which I'm hoping is going to be the case with that, because otherwise that's going to be an expensive panel to put right. But overall, it looks nice in here. It's as expected. Now, concerningly, it has just popped up with a service light, and I'm hoping we've got the service history to look at. I love the leather. Everything is so well put together in a Bentley. It just excites me in many, many ways. What we'll do before we fire it up, I want to have a quick look under the bonnet and make sure everything looks right. So you need to look at certain things in particular on a Bentley. So let's dive under the bonnet. That is what you call an engine. That is absolute class. Now, there are certain things that you need to listen out for on a Bentley because they've got vacuum pipes at the back, which can split, which can be very expensive to sort out, but that tends to be on the earlier models. I think it's like 2006 they had problems. They did change the design, but the way to tell that they're going is rough idle, so it's not idling perfectly, which this engine should do. It should be silky smooth, or if you can actually hear the vacuum pipes making noise, and just make sure that everything looks as it should do. Same with any car that you buy. You want to check in your coolant, and you want to make sure there's no bits floating in the coolant, because what can happen on these is the radiators can disintegrate over time, fire particles into the coolant, which is often floating about. Nothing on there. And that is perfectly level how it should be as well, because if that goes wrong, you can end up with head gasket failure. You get head gasket failure on one of these, you've got a serious, serious problem. But that looks all right. What I'm going to do is fire it up and make sure it sounds like a W12 should sound. Unfortunately, having had one in stock before, I do actually know that bit. So we'll give it a fire up. Sounds like I'd expect. So fortunately, they've left the car cold, so it's on a cold start procedure for me, so you can actually hear it going through all of its range of motions. But yeah, that sounds exactly like you'd expect it to sound, which is rather good. And there's no sort of obvious noises coming from the back of the engine which would indicate vacuum pipes. Now I've just spoken to Phil, and he'd spoken to his mechanic who also owns one of these, and they have been checking them on a regular basis, which is obviously good news from my point of view. But it'd be interesting to get into the service history on this car and have a proper look on that. I've got the service history book off Phil here, and it is exactly as described. This car is a 2012 car, and it has had its pre-delivery inspection done at Bentley in 2012. Then it's been serviced, its first one, so Bentley 2012. Had its services at 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23 and 24. So the only thing we've got missing there actually is 17, isn't it? So it was done start of 16 and it had done 16,000 miles. And then in 18, at the very start of 18, it had done 19,000 miles. I'm all right with that. So basically this guy, he's just told me the story now. The surgeon who owned it, not a dentist or whatever I thought it was, he lived in Edinburgh. He had the car stored at a vault in Manchester, and he used to have a holiday home on the south coast. And he used to have them service the car, which is why we've got Bentley Manchester services in here, and then take it down to his holiday home for him to swan about him with the roof down and his, I can imagine, very attractive woman with him. Or man. Or toaster. It's a modern world. So that's proper service history. We've got some invoices as well here. Now it is due a service. It was done in August last year, so it's due one. Fortunately, the last service that he did included the spark plugs, which is something that you need to look out on these, because a spark plug job on one of these, as you can imagine, a W12 has got many, many plugs. Speaking of plugs, switches and buttons, what I'm going to do is make sure that everything works in here. So I'm just going to fire it back up and then just run through absolutely everything. So that soft closed door works. We want to check the other one works, which it does. They're expensive problems when they don't go right. It's got heated and cooled seats in this, so I'll put it on cooled. You can hear the fans kicking straight away, so that's obviously very positive. It's immediately cooling my rear. I need to check the handbrake, make sure that works, check the air conditioning, make sure that works. So they're kind of the expensive bits on these are, handbrakes are incredibly expensive, air conditioning condensers are really expensive, and then anything electrical that doesn't work is expensive. So I'm obviously going to be checking the roof as well. What I'm going to do first of all is just make sure that everything on this seat works. It's doing something. Memory works. That is your air scarf. So it blows hot or cold air on the back of your neck, depending on what the weather condition and the climate's saying, sir. Does that work? Yeah, I can hear it. Great news. Don't really know what that does. Oh, that's massage. That's the massage button. I'm currently being massaged by a German woman. Because of course these are German now, no longer British. However, that all works, which is great. Rear windows work, which is great. I need to check the boot. Everything so far working. Rob happy, everything good. I've been a bit of an idiot there. I'm going to close the boot so I can do the roof. First of all, look at this. This blue tinge here is the original sticker that's still on there, which is fantastic to see. We've got the windbreak, which is a very expensive option. It's even got the original, is that a Bentley umbrella? It doesn't feel the right quality for a Bentley umbrella. And it's got the trickle charger in here as well, which is super important because these things will munch batteries for fun. And there are two batteries. You've got kind of a big one and a small one. They're both very expensive. Like this if it doesn't work. Will it be? I'm getting a bit aroused. Okay, so now what I need to do is check the roof works. Now, concerningly, I've just noticed it said it's got nearly half a tank of fuel, which is a 100-mile range. They are savage on fuel. Okay, windows worky. Windows are worky. Let's drop her down. So that works, which I kind of expect it to do anyway, because the first thing he said was check the roof. So we knew that was going to work. This is gorgeous. Now, the thing on these that can be expensive is the parking brake or the handbrake. Oh, it's got a reversing camera. It's part of the spec, is that? So let's just see if it holds on this little incline, which is his drive. So I'm going to bob it here. And I'm going to put it into neutral. Yeah, that holds well. Absolutely fine. Oh, what a wonderful thing. Absolutely stunning. The obvious thing to do now is to get out for a bit of a road test. Right. Love the fact that you push the B down to put it into gear in one of these. There's not a lot you need to check for really on a road test in one of these, other than the fact that they are obviously a twin turbo, so you want to make sure that you're not being followed by a cloud of smoke, because that'd be rather upsetting. But all I want to do is make sure that it drives smoothly. There's no nasty noise, nasty bangs, etc. And then we'll have a quick look at the discs and pads and tyres. And I think we're ready to start talking numbers and see whether or not we can get this for the right money, because you do need quite a chunk across a Bentley for obvious reasons, because when stuff goes wrong, ouch, they just purr. They just purr. I've literally no idea where I am. I've got Alex with me anyway, just so that he can Google Maps us on the way back. So apologies if you can see his shoulder. But let's see how we get on. Nice, quiet, smooth. Right, we're on to a national speed limits. Let's. They pull. That brake pedal feels very good as well. I'm just going to get these windows up to reduce the road noise a little bit so you can at least hear us. And let's just get some braking in here, make sure it brakes well. Hold on, Alex. I'd say it brakes pretty well. Might have a look at that actually. Oh, it's got a ski hatch on it. So this car, part of the spec is a ski hatch. Which basically means that if you were to take your Bentley skiing, you've got somewhere where you can run your skis through the centre of the car. That obviously wasn't clipped in properly. It drives all right. I mean, we've averaged 12 to the gallon as well now, so it's certainly using fuel like a Bentley should. I'm rather pleased with this. They're just so special. That's told me everything I need on the test drive, and it isn't my car yet, so I'm not going to be driving like a prat. We can save that for later. But I was going to get out now, have a look at the air suspension, make sure that's all right, and go from there. Okay, so we're going to check and make sure the suspension works properly and make sure that everything else is okay in the car. Now we've got a little bit of moments, sounds awful, peace, but away from the people who are selling the car. They've been very trusting here, and I really appreciate it. However, I don't trust them enough not to check the car on vehicle score. So I have done a quick run on it, and it is showing me on the free check 832 out of 999, which for a car that is 10 years old, older, 12, 13 years old, is pretty damn impressive. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to go on here and I'm going to pay for the full check. So let me just see what is being unveiled underneath this 832 out of 999. Okay, so I'm pleased with this check because this is going to be quite a large investment and quite a large risk. Anyway, it's coming up telling me the owners are right, and it's coming up telling me it's not been a taxi, it's not been imported, there's no outstanding finance, which on an older car you tend not to get anyway, not being in an accident, etc, etc. But crucially what it does is it tells you whether or not there are any negative points on a car whatsoever to look out for. This one, none. So there are absolutely no red flags on this car whatsoever, which is annoying because I paid for that report, and if I'd have paid an extra £2 and I got all my money back, if I'm at Yorkshireman, I'd rather pay the £2 less in the first place. Absolutely spot on, clean as a button. And I'm now confident now that I can check all the suspension and go back and have a chat with Phil and hopefully nail a deal. Now it's also telling me the prices on this car as well. It's telling me the trade valuation is £19,000. No, but it's telling me trade value in good condition is £31,000, which I think is probably around about its money on trade. It's also saying that a dealer forecourt is 40 grand. I've already put this into Auto Trader and put all the spec in because it's got a really nice spec with it being a car that was sold to Bentley as a demonstrator, and it's telling me 42.5. So I'm going to go and check the suspension now, make sure everything's okay, and assuming that everything's okay, let's get a deal done. Now I'm in a very fortunate position that obviously I'm in tandem here with Alex today, so I can get him to check if it's going up and down. I've already done this with him sat in it and me looking, but for viewers' pleasure, Alex, will you tell me if this car is going up, please? Back went up then, front's going up now. Yeah, absolutely spot on, and it's totally flat all the way around. Now personally I think they look absolutely awful in this high ride mode, and for me I'd always drive it in normal. However, if you're going across the fields to check on your horses and your land, you might want to raise one's Bentley off the ground a little bit. So good to know it works. So let's get it back on the drive and have a final look around. The drive back was lovely as well. All in all, I'm rather happy with this car. Obviously it needs a service. There's the dashboard. Wheels need doing, a couple of other bits. So I'm just going to go in and have a chat now with the owner who doesn't want to be on this, and just see whether or not we can make a deal happen. If we can make a deal happen, the next thing you're going to see is me swanning down the coast of the UK in a convertible Bentley. If we can't, I'm going to be sat back next to Alex. Drum roll, please. Right, I'm just going to stop there before we do all the sexy shots because I have indeed bought this Bentley. I've done a deal with Phil. Now Phil knows how to sweeten a car dealer, and he said, I've got a gift for you for your bar. And you're probably wondering why on the thumbnail, for some bizarre reason, I'm holding a medieval sword. I'm going to show you why. We like people like Phil. As part of the deal, he has included this Robert the Bruce sword, which is incredibly heavy and rather sharp. And he said it'll look quite good on your bar. So moving forwards, if I'm buying your car as a subscriber, this is the gift that you have to beat, because you remember I bought that Passat and I got a clock. It has been trumped. Alex, sexy shots, please. Let's go. Lovely, lovely people, like genuinely really, really sound. Phil, very eccentric character, sort of guy who I'd love to have a pint with. And thanks again if you're watching this, Phil. I really appreciate the opportunity to buy this. And then Steve, his son, who watches on YouTube. Thank you, Steve, for the opportunity for linking us two up. We did a good deal, I think. We kind of got to a position where Phil wanted a little bit more. I wanted to give a little bit less. There were a couple of things that I'd not really spotted in the photos and we'd not really spoken about on the phone, so he did me a bit of a deal for that. And you know, I stuck to my word of buying the car at a price starting with a 3. And that's where I'm going to leave it for that. I'm probably going to do a video about how much it's cost to put this right, because there are a couple of bits that are going to be a little bit more expensive than I thought. For example, that service that's required. I didn't think it needed one, and I know that these take a lot of oil, and I suspect it's probably back to a specialist job. We've used a specialist in Leeds before who've been really good. They give it a proper once over at the same time. However, I'm currently driving home in the sunshine in a Bentley Continental GTC with my massage seats on. It is cooling my sweaty regions as we speak as well, and it's days like this that make me realise I am doing the right job, and I do love this job. This is a good deal. He's happy, I'm happy, and I think this is going to make a tremendous car for somebody. Although this weekend I have got a party to go to, and I've got a sneaky feeling that I'm not going to be taking that SQ5 that I'm very happy with. I'm probably going to be wafting across in this car and pretending I'm something I'm not, because that's what a cheap Bentley is all about. A lot of car for the money for someone, but it is a lot of running costs. These drink fuel for fun. It's telling me I've got a 55-mile range, and if you remember when we were looking at the car originally, it had 100, and all we've done is a little bit of a test drive. So we're popping for fuel on the way home. Going back, my missus got her sister over from Australia, and then we're getting this back to the unit. I have got something very, very special that's just landed while we've been out, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it will be on one of the videos coming up very shortly. It is Italian, it's got the engine at the back, and it is a manual. We're yet to do the deal, but the guys basically dropped the car off at the showroom for me to inspect tomorrow, and what a special thing that is going to be. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's an icon here. Hit that bell icon on. Plenty more of these videos coming up. And also, to watch some more of my content, press the icon above. We're trying to do this better. Is that better? To have it there and you can just click. Once again, thanks for joining me. See you next time. I'm going to enjoy wafting home in my soft and gently Bentley. Tatty.